Indeed, yes. The UBS trader suspected of a £1.3 billion fraud has been charged and has appeared in court this afternoon. Kweku Adoboli is accused of carrying out unauthorised deals at the Swiss banking giant UBS. Earlier, the bank admitted the fraud was uncovered after colleagues blew the whistle rather than through its own bank monitoring systems. That's now sparked concerns that banks don't have the right mechanisms in place to stop casino-style investing. UBS insists that no clients will be affected. Meanwhile, ratings agencies Moody's and Standard & Poor's have put the Swiss bank on watch following the alleged unauthorised trades. Well, Ralph Silver is a banking analyst at SRN. He's with me now. Ralph, good afternoon to you. We've seen a lot of this. After Nick Leeson and Barings in '95, then we had this SocGen and Jerome Kerviel. Suggestions that more systems should be put in place to stop this happening. Why did they not catch this?
Well, most people might be surprised that this actually happens pretty well once a week, but just never at the amount that we're actually talking about here. It's just a couple of 100,000 here, a couple of 100,000 there. Eventually it'll add up to money, but it's not that big a deal. The reason it happens is for one very simple reason. Validation takes time. The markets work in fractions of a second. To add even 1 second to check over what a trader is doing means that you lose money. And that's why UBS and other organizations give their traders a lot of freedom to do what they need to do because they need to do it quickly.
Now, we've heard in court this afternoon that some of these charges go back as far as 2008. Some very small transactions, all building up to this massive $1.3 billion loss, this fraud. How did this manage to happen? How do you manage to hide something like this?
This is extremely surprising, the fact that it's gone on for a long period of time, because the systems and the audits usually pick this kind of thing up. It indicates that somehow there was a lot of knowledge on how to actually use the system and circumvent the system. So these are all allegations. We're still to hear exactly what's going on. But we've seen examples of it before where the back office people actually allowed something like this to happen because they thought they were doing the right thing.
There's some suggestions that it perhaps is very easy for this sort of thing to happen if you make initial losses. You then borrow some more money to cover those losses. You can see where the word casino-style investment comes from. And it's very easy then for it just to snowball. Yeah,
and let's be clear that the only way that they ever do this is with the bank's own money. They never do this kind of thing with clients' money. And that's important to say. But the reason it happens, and it's actually happened to me in the past, is that you make a loss and you don't want to tell your manager that you actually lost some money. So what do you try to do? You try to fix it. And you try to fix it. And all of a sudden, you lost $2 billion. Because you've gone too far. Good traders are the ones who realize they've made a loss, stop the loss from happening. The rogue traders are the ones that realize the loss and then try to chase it down. And that's probably what's happened in this case.
Now, I've also heard that UBS now under pressure from Swiss authorities to separate the investment arms or even get rid of it altogether to protect the retail banking arm. Is that likely to happen? And if it does, how significant?
It's not likely to happen simply because $2 billion, while a lot of money, is not a lot of money to UBS. They will survive. This is something that they can do. And the investment banking component for UBS is important. Why? Private banking customers, high net worth individuals absolutely want access to that, and that's their bread and butter.
Okay, Ralph Silver, thanks very much indeed for your time this afternoon. I'm also hearing that the defendant in this case will be remanded in custody until September the 22nd. We'll have more on that, of course, throughout the afternoon. But in the news, there are